welcome to the build-up from RamsTV. This is the show that gives you everything you need to know before the big game kicks off. Tonight, Derby County are back on the road, returning to the scene of one of last season's most memorable away days. You'll remember, I'm sure, Friday the 29th of December, Oxford United jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. But there was something in the air that night, and when Craig Forsyth pulled the goal back just before half-time, it almost felt inevitable. Liam Thompson and Erin Cashin completed the comeback, one of Derby's record-breaking 13 away wins last season. Well, both Derby and Oxford ended up winning promotion from League One. Of course, Oxford doing it by beating Bolton in the playoff final. Their Wembley hero, Josh Murphy, has already moved on, but head coach Des Buckingham has managed to keep the rest of his squad largely intact and made 16 signings in the summer, including spending a club record fee on Sarike Dembele from Birmingham. Derby could come up against a very familiar face tonight as well. Louis Sibley joined Oxford in the summer, ending his 14-year association with the Rams. He's yet to start in the league for Oxford, but did get his first goal a couple of games ago. After 10 matches, Derby and Oxford only separated by goal difference, sitting 12th and 11th in the Championship respectively. Neither side have won away from home yet either, and Oxford are unbeaten at the Kassam Stadium, having beaten Norwich, Preston and Stoke, and drawn with Burnley and West Brom. And given this is their first season at this level since 1999, it means they haven't lost at home in the second tier for over 25 years. That's a slightly misleading statistic, I know. Can also tell you that Oxford now are 5 without a win. Well, let's turn our focus to Derby, who got their first away point of the season away at Millwall on Saturday, courtesy of Jerry Yates' first Rams goal. No one happier to see him get that than his head coach, Paul Warne.
Said to him, had a conversation with him walking around the training pitch on Thursday, I think it was, saying, look, you know, your performances have been excellent. Like, the goals are just the cherry, obviously, but it's not like he's missing 3 one-on-ones a game. We're not a team that have created, you know, plenty of chances every game. He's missing, and I'm thinking, right, I need to put someone else on, put Colo on, or put Dej on, or bring Wash in, or something like that. I think his performances have been good. So, yes, I'm really pleased for him that he got his goal, and yeah, it's probably a little bit similar to, look, it wasn't needed. It wasn't like in the same way as, like, we didn't desperately need that away point. Like, we can't sleep at night thinking about it. We do everything we can to try and win, and if we don't, you have to forget about it quickly and go on to the next one. It's the same with Jerry, really, I think. Didn't score in a few games. Maybe could have pulled the trigger a couple of times if I was being hugely critical. But he scored it, but you know, there'll be something else to worry about tomorrow night and then Saturday, and it goes on, doesn't it? So, but really pleased for him. I obviously enjoyed the fact that someone picked him up. It looked hilarious. So that will go on our points wall and probably his goal celebration photo.
You described him after the game as an iceberg player, which I liked. Do you see? I mean, I never saw you play. Do you see a bit of yourself in him with the work rate and the effort and the energy and that sort of thing?
I feel like your football education is lacking if you didn't see me play.
I'll get on YouTube in a bit.
Oh, you'd have took on so much. I think, yeah, I do. I do see a lot of me in him. I do, obviously. And I think, you know, you can't have 11 people, it sounds awful this, but you can't have 11 people who play the piano but no one who carries it, that old classic. You've got to have some people who are in the team. In the same way, Ebbs plays a completely different midfield role to Kenzo, doesn't he? So I think in the same way as when Colo plays, his work ethic's the same, as his Washes, as his Dages, to be fair. But I do think that Jerry is like constantly like a bumblebee. Like, I wouldn't want to play against him. He's constantly causing problems. And we always say about our press at times, if we go after teams, it's not sometimes the first person who wins the ball back. It might be he presses, then Caden presses, the ball speed picks up, the next pass is rushed, and then all of a sudden, you know, a Ryan Nyambi or a Kane or whatever can pick the ball up and we get it. So he's the driving force of our team at times, even though he doesn't get the highlighted bit of it, if that makes sense.
Off to Oxford on Tuesday, I should say. I know you like to look forward, but the last visit there was quite a memorable game. How do you reflect on that 3-2 win back in December, I think it was?
Yeah. Well, every away win's enjoyable. I know we had loads last year, but that was right up there because you could just feel the game was after we'd given away a couple of goals. I just felt like we were going to get back into it, and sometimes you feel it as probably a fan, a pundit, whatever, a manager, a coach, whatever the case may be. You just sort of feel that the wave, and you're thinking like, well, we're going to get another chance, and obviously Tomo to score as well was great. So I remember the game vividly. I remembered another game before when I took a team there, and it was just after Rich lost his brother, so that was another pertinent moment in our football story, really. So we've had positive results there, but I do remember that one really clearly, because even though we were 2-0 down, I thought we were playing well. And sometimes score lines can be kind to you, and sometimes they can be harsh, and I didn't think we deserved to be losing 2-0, although we'd made 2 howling mistakes. But to go on and win it was great, and they're the nights, as a fan or whatever, you part of, and that's what's amazing about football and live sport. You just don't know what you're going to see. You don't. And if you leave 20 minutes before the end and your team are losing, you find out they've won, you're like, oh my, how did I miss it? And similar, it can happen the other way. And that's what makes it great, and that's what makes it enjoyable and worthwhile to be part of. So thoroughly enjoyed it, and hopefully there'll be evenings and away games like that this season.
And just finally, I don't know if you have had your reports and updates yet, because it's early on Monday when we speak, but Ryan Amby, is there any update on him at all?
No, he's getting scanned today. He is, his knee is swollen. We are expecting the scan to come back with damage. We're not expecting, more hopeful. It's more about the fact we know there's something's happened. It's just the severity of it. So fingers crossed that we get the best news we can for Ryan, because, first and foremost, he's a good kid, a great human being who does everything he can to be in the best possible shape. But for the team as well, we need him. So we're hoping for good news.
That's Paul Warne. Here's the Championship table for you. Sunderland leading from Burnley, Leeds and Sheffield United. West Brom and Blackburn complete the top 6 after 10 games. Oxford and Derby both squeak into the top half, 5 points off the playoffs and 5 clear of the relegation zone. Queen's Park Rangers dropped to rock bottom at the weekend, with Portsmouth finally getting their first win of the season. Lots of questions about Coventry at the moment. They're only above the bottom 3 on goal difference. And Coventry go to Queen's Park Rangers tonight. That's the 8 o'clock game. Earlier, Cardiff hosts Portsmouth, which means the bottom 4 are all playing each other. Leeds can go top if they beat Watford, with the other leaders not playing till tomorrow. Now, ahead of tonight's trip to Oxford United, we've been catching up with Derby County goalkeeper Jacob Widell Zetterström, who settled in very nicely indeed to his new surrounding. He's been telling us the biggest adjustment he's had to make is driving on the other side of the road.
To be fair, I'd say the last one. No, I mean, the first week you just drove so slow and kept bumping into the sidewalk. But no, it hasn't been that big of a difference, to be fair. I mean, I've been in England before, and to be fair, it's not that different from Sweden. So it's the small adjustments, I guess. Not speaking your first language, and just getting up to pace with your English, really.
I know you said in a previous interview you were having to translate jokes in the dressing room to get them. Are you more up to speed now?
Yeah, more up to speed now, but still, it's. I think it's just I'm getting to that point where hopefully, I guess, your true personality can show itself a bit more, because in the beginning you're just a bit preoccupied with translating everything. So, I mean, your true personality doesn't really come through as much when you're not as comfortable speaking the language as you would if you speaking it your whole life.
And what about changes on the field? Obviously, first time in English football, first time in the Championship. What are the major differences, if any, that you sort of picked up on?
I'd say the speed of it, and the fact that I mean, it's pretty much what I expected, and I love that fact because I mean, I love English football, and to play English football is it's just amazing. But I'd say like the speed of it and crosses coming in from every part of the pitch, and you know, game goes back and forth all the time. It's not a slow moment at all. So yeah, I'd say that.
Have you had to make changes to your game? Are there things in particular you're having to work on and change?
Not really, no. I think like you shouldn't make too big changes of your game. Even if I consider myself young, I am 26, and I mean, I like to think like my game before I got here is what got me here. So I just don't think like you have to make that big of a adjustment. Of course, like you have to get used to a new game and like new teammates and all that. But at the end of it, it's the same guy standing in the goal.
One of my favourite moments of the season so far was you running the length of the field to celebrate. I think it was after David Ozo's goal against Bristol City. I know some goalkeepers can be like ice cool, never let anything show. You seem to be quite emotional or more emotional. Is that important to you?
Yeah, I'd say so, because I mean, as long as it doesn't take control of you, I think it's a good thing, because football is emotions, and it should be, because I love doing what I do, and like winning, losing, that affects you, and I think it should not affect your game or your performance or anything. But I like to be happy when we score goals. I mean, I'm not some like Iceman tennis player Björn Borg, just ice cool every time. Every time something happens, I'm an emotional guy, and that shows on the pitch as well.
That's Jacob Widell Zetterström. And you can watch Oxford United against Derby County tonight on RamsTV. We're available everywhere outside the UK, so get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. Matchday Live with you from 7:15. This has been The Build-Up. Goodbye.